most basic yet essential skateboarding tricks is the ollie. The ollie is when a skateboarder jumps on his skateboard or her skateboard and brings the skateboard up with them. It may seem simple at first, but the ollie is actually a little bit more complicated. But after a lot of hard work and practice, you'll be ollieing in no time, and you'll be able to tackle all the other skateboarding tricks there are to learn. There are some prerequisite skateboarding skills that you need to have under your belt before you start learning how to ollie. These skills include riding around, having good balance and control on your skateboard, and being able to turn and stop easily. The best way to improve these skills is to ride your skateboard all the time and everywhere. Lots of times skateboarders start learning to ollie before they have these skills mastered, and it makes the process a lot more difficult. So it's good to have these skills mastered beforehand. Also, before you start skateboarding, there's some supplies you need. You need a skateboard. Usually pro skateboards are better, that's what I have here, but skateboards you buy from anywhere really work. Also, you need some skate shoes. These shoes are made to have the best grip and the best protection for your foot when you're learning to skateboard. Also, you need some good ground to ride it on. Tennis courts are great, but make sure you're not bothering any tennis players that are using the courts. Concrete also works great. If you have all this equipment, then you're ready to learn to ollie. There are three main parts to the ollie. There's the pop, where you hit the tail of your skateboard to the ground, and then there's the jump and drag. These usually happen simultaneously, where you jump up and drag your front foot up on the skateboard. The ollie is made up of these three key elements, and usually when ollieing, the main problem people have is their timing of the elements. You need to be able to pop, you need to be able to jump and drag your foot at the perfect time for an ollie to happen. The first part of the ollie you need to know is the pop. To pop, you slam your back foot to the ground as hard as possible. Usually your back foot never really reaches the ground, it just pushes it hard enough to bounce your skateboard off the ground. This pop is what starts your skateboard off the ground. To practice pop, stand on your skateboard and constantly pop. After you've practiced your pop and you've mastered it, you have to start practicing your pop with a jump. This jump allows your board to actually come up because of the pop, and if you don't jump, your feet stay there and don't let the board come up, which is really, an ollie is a jump. This is what a pop and jump would look like with the correct timing. You pop and jump, but with the timing so that you can actually see the board come up into the air. It shouldn't come up too high, but you should see the back wheels come up. If you don't jump high enough or at the correct time, your feet could cause your board to stay on the ground. It would look like this. And that would not work for an ollie. The next main part for your ollie is the drag of the front foot. This is where you take your front foot on your skateboard and you drag the white part of your skate shoe along the black grip tape so that it causes friction. This move is what actually makes the skateboard, when you pop it, to come up into the air and level out. The timing on the drag is one of the hardest parts of the ollie, but once you get it, it really makes your ollie look good. To practice the drag, you should go into your popped position and put your foot about 2 inches under the bolts, and you should drag like this. How you know that you're dragging right is when you see white streaks from your shoe on the grip tape, and this shows that there is actually friction, and it will destroy your shoes, but that's what they're made for. After you've practiced this and mastered it completely, it's time to put all the pieces together to learn to ollie. By this point, you should have mastered your pop and jump, and your drag, and it's time to put it together to make an ollie. A finished ollie should look like this. See if you can point out the 3 different aspects that I've taught you so far. As you see, I popped my ollie, but at the same time I jumped up and I dragged my front foot up. It's important to turn your ankle when you drag your front foot. Not like this, but like this. That way you cause even more friction and really pull your skateboard up. Some good tips to remember when you're ollieing is to always drag your front foot up higher than you really expect. Another tip is to keep your center of gravity centered over your board so you don't lose your balance. After lots of hard work and practice, like I said before, your ollies will be looking better in no time. Once you've learned an ollie still, you can learn it moving, over obstacles, and really you can start learning other tricks, because this ollie will most likely be the first trick you ever learn, and it will be incorporated in every other trick you learn. All in all, I hope this tutorial helped you learn to ollie, and I hope it set you off on your journey as part of the skateboard community, which, in my opinion, is a really great community. Please leave any questions below in the comments, and please subscribe if you've enjoyed this video. I make videos pretty often, and they're usually about skateboarding. Peace!